That's fucking minging, that.
I tell you what that is, fucking men against fucking boys all over the fucking park. They're fucking weak as piss, they are. Fucking weak as piss.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the ROKER RAPPORT PUBCAST in association with the Sunderland Community Soup Kitchen. My name's Anthony Waters and I have the wonderful job of discussing Sunderland losing 2-1 to Doncaster Rovers at home in front of 38,000 people. I can't do it on my own. I've dragged in Malc and Dugdale. How we doing, Mal?
Afternoon, Ant. It's an absolute pleasure to have your company, and I'll stop there.
There's the positives. And Paddy as well. Paddy, how we doing?
Yeah, I mean, if you take the football side of things out on me Saturday, it's been alright, but obviously that's why we're here, isn't it?
Unfortunately, yes. So we've lost again. That's 2 defeats in a row. We'll start off with the starting lineup because they've made one change from losing 6-0. They've got Roberts on the bench, Clark on the bench, Diaco on the bench, the new said midfielder McKetty on the bench, Defoe on the bench, and they're still proceeding to play the likes of Lyndon Gooch, a very tired Dan Neil, to be honest, a half-injured Alex Pritchard. I mean, that side from the start there wasn't good enough, was it?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the first 15 minutes, in my opinion, were quite bright. And I was starting to think, well, maybe they've given them one more chance to prove that the Bolton result was a flash in the pan and just one of them freaks. But after the first 15 minutes, where we didn't really capitalise on the possession or on the pressure or anything like that, we just sat back. We weren't closing down. So I kind of have a feeling that, I have a hope that was this squad given its last chance saloon after Bolton, because we've had 5 or 6 new lads come in over the window and people have been given a chance to try and prove they deserve their spot. And let's be honest, most of them didn't. No. Especially in that first half, it was terrible.
Yeah, I agree. A lot are on the last chance saloon, and a lot of them I wouldn't be bothered never seen them playing a Sunderland shirt again, to be honest. Paddy, do you think it was a bit safe from, Dodds and Proctor and, the coaching lineup? This is a bit of a safe kind of starting lineup where you've got talent on the bench, bright talent that they brought in the transfer window on the bench, and then we've got that. I mean, it's just so safe for me. It was like as if they'd disrespected Doncaster Rovers, to be honest.
The problem I had with that team is, I agree with what you're saying, how it was very safe. It's a lineup where they probably didn't even anticipate going a goal down. Mm-hmm. So I think when we went to go down, the players on the pitch, we weren't ready to fall behind in a game. It does show a lot of sort of naivety against a team. We know the bottom of the league. We know they get thumped. We played these lads less than 6 weeks ago, and their place. I mean, I thought we beat them 3-0 and we didn't get out of second gear. We were so comfortable against them, but they've come here and honestly, they haven't had to work for it. They've gone away with 3 points where, to be honest, I don't think they've had to break sweat. They haven't had to put in any last-ditch tackles or really fight to win the ball back in the middle of the park. But we've made it so easy for them, and we've made a team who, before today, you're taking today's result, but on the road they've been abysmal. And we still got this idea of we had a couple of hiccups, but we've still been a pretty tough team to beat at home. But after today, it's just, for me, all those stats and runs and all this, it's gone out the window, because honestly, fair play to Doncaster. That will possibly be one of the easiest 3 points they pick up this season, because we barely laid a finger on them. It took until last 20 minutes, half an hour to actually switch on. It's lads, you're playing in front of 38,000 people. It was absolutely bouncing. The city and everything about today was bouncing. We've kicked off and we've just reverted to type, and reverted to we look shell-shocked on the ball.
Oh yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. Mark, this is a team who got beat 5-0 against Rotherham, who are one of our supposed automatic promotion candidates, and we've just let them. I get what you said, the first 50 minutes we did look bright, we did look a little bit sparty, but once we didn't get that early goal, we got into ourselves a little bit, and all of a sudden, Doncaster could have been 3 or 4-0 up by half time. They hit the post, Hoffman's had to make a double save. What's gone on after that first 15 minutes? The team have just gone into the shells a bit. We've sacked the manager on Sunday, and it's exactly the same again. So what needs to happen?
First thing we need to say is it clearly wasn't Lee Johnson that was at fault in Bolton. There's more than that. That's a problem in the team for me. The club ownership and the the director of football and stuff like that said that it wasn't just that result that meant that he lost his job. But I mean, today after that first 15 minutes, for me, we sat back. The other thing that I kind of observed, especially in the second half of the first half, if you know what I mean, we had loads of width because they overcrowded the midfield. They were right on top of Pritchard, they were right on top of Dan Neil, but we didn't have the quality out wide to use the width to make a difference. Now, why we continued with Sirkin trying and not doing very well on the left-hand side, and Gooch trying, and I mean, to be fair, I don't think Gooch had as bad a game as Sirkin, but he wasn't brilliant. When we've got Dejarko on the bench, when we've got Roberts, when we got Clark, we didn't bring Clark on until 65, 70 minutes. When it's not working, just change it. Stop being so bloody petty, and loyalty needs to be abandoned when performance and results aren't good enough. And the loyalty to some of them players that lost those recent games, I think, was way overpaid. And we could have made a difference. But we've got to remember, this is a caretaker management team. They're probably trying to be safe, to use your words, and so we need to get the new man in as soon as possible and use this as a rocket up our arses to get sorted.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to keep on talking about how safe it was, but you look at the kind of, honestly, we lost last week, Paddy. We got hammered 6-0, but just the kind of resurgence of hope, I thought, once the 4 came in on Monday, all the stuff with Weefley and everything like that went on, and just it's felt like, even on social media, on Twitter, which can be a bad place if you're a Sunderland fan, but it's just felt so united again. And then they go and put a performance out like that, and I'm not blaming just the players, I'm blaming the management team or whatever it was today for it was just gutless and stubbornness. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can really sort of sum it up any better than that, really. I mean, it's obviously we don't know how much the players are aware of what goes on in the fan base and on social media. So we're never really aware of how much they pick up on that. But I mean, surely them even just training, and just coming out and walking out the tunnel and hearing so many fans. Since being in this league, and obviously you include the Championship as well, it's been a very long time since the Stadium of Light's been that full.
Yeah.
And as you said, it just felt like such a special occasion, and it's just come to it. And I don't even think it's a case of, I wouldn't even say we're frozen in the spotlight. I think it's just, I don't know. I've said this many times this season where it feels like we don't know how to just take that extra step and just get the atmosphere and use it in our favour. I just think there's so many times where away teams come and when as soon as they can tell so that the fans they're getting frustrated because the team aren't playing as well as what we want them to, and fans have a right to express that. But I just think that away teams just pick up on that so much, and I think Doncaster sort of did that today, where it's when rightly so, the atmosphere when their second goal went in, it was shocking, but that's how it should be, because it was horrible. It was a disgusting first half performance. But Doncaster must have been thinking we've got these beat at half time. Are these really going to come out and step up the performance when they've got this many fans who are disgruntled with the performance? They're going to have to put in a Premier League standard performance to win these fans back around. And I'm sorry, but this team and the setup what we had today was never going to do that.
No, it wasn't. I mean, one bright spot, I think, not many, Malc, was young Jack Clark when he came on. Thought he looked very direct, very pacey, looks a player. For me, he's starting on Tuesday. I know we haven't seen much of Patrick Roberts yet, but for me, he's got to start on Tuesday. I'd be tempted to throw the 4 in on Tuesday. I mean, we could probably make 11 changes, couldn't we, after that today?
I think we can. Whether they will, I don't know. I think that depends on whether the manager lands over the rest of the weekend. And before that, the thing that wound me up more than anything else was just the continuous sideways passing. It was like watching the rugby that was on earlier on. You're not allowed to pass it forward or you lose the ball. To give a little bit of credit to Doncaster, like I say, I think they crowded that midfield quite well. They stopped us penetrating. They knew that Pritchard and Dan Neil were a couple of our key playmakers, and they double marked Ross Stewart probably 75% of the match for me. And we wanted we wanted Defoe back. You can't expect miracles when he's played, how many minutes over the last season? 9 minutes,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's not going to come on and be some kind of show pony.
No.
But, you know, we can make a lot of changes definitely on Tuesday.
I think you bring up a really, really good point about they kind of shut us out in the middle of the park. We couldn't put him in the middle of the park. But then, Paddy, we had no left winger. Like, Gooch was playing out on the wide right in the first half. We saw Dennis Circle try to bomb forward, but he had no help. Elliot Embleton was getting dragged into the middle. Pritchard was dragged into the middle. And there was no width. And Malcolm brings up a great point there. They were completely suffocating us in the middle, but we had nothing out wide. So why at half time a change hasn't been made is beyond me.
No, that's the thing. So, I mean, like, you know, before the game, like, you know, I was over in the fans museum, and when the team came out, everybody's saying, "Oh, it's a strong bench." That's like, yeah, it's a strong bench. But look at the players. You know, I understand why Defoe hasn't started. Yeah. But then, like, you look at who we've also got on that. You know, we've got like Clark, Jacku, Roberts. Look at that, and it's just like we've got to get them starting. And I think that was sort of like made evident when, as you said, like we started playing, and I don't know, just I did not know what the plan was today. From front to back, nobody seemed to have a clue. You know, we've got our captain there, you know, Corey Evans. You know, I don't think he's a bad footballer, but when I see him play, I don't see him playing that captain role, which I think we sort of brought him in for. You know, we maybe didn't plan on, like, you know, bringing him in and like giving him the armband week in, week out, but I just think with a player of his experience, you know, and like sitting in the midfield, you know, maybe like allowing our more creative players to push forward, I just think we needed to see more from him. But, you know, you're saying about we didn't have like a winger out on the left. It's even get to the point where like Doyle's making his runs forward and like he's playing a loose pass, and then all of a sudden like they're counter-attacking, and you know we've only got like it's like basically like 2-on-2, and
Gooch is one of them.
Yeah,
a couple of times.
That's the thing. You know, it's hard to really single out a single player because I just don't think anybody really knew what the plan was.
The system was bollocks.
It was all over the place. Like, nobody knew exactly what they were doing, and I think Doncaster, you know, they might be out of form, you know, they might be on the way out down to League Two, but they came, and fair play to them. Like I'd say, you know, they would think, no, we'll have to go toe to toe with them, but they haven't.
No, I mean, I want to talk about the new manager next, but my final thought on today's performance is, you know, you can sack managers left, right and centre, but as a player, you've got to watch that back, and you have got to take a lot of responsibility for that. You mentioned there, Doncaster were running for every ball, they were challenging for every second ball, they were winning everything like that, they were going through, they were playing for each other. That there was 11 individuals from Sunderland, and, you know, you need to sort this out, and for any of the management team that looked at that at half time and thought that was good enough, then you need to leave this club and you need to go and get a job in something that isn't football related, because that was absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, we'll move on. The main rumour is now that Roy Keane is the overwhelming favourite to take over. Obviously, what was said last night on the television, he kind of didn't particularly deny it. But if he does come, seeing that performance, that's what it needs. It needs a Roy Keane in just to set a rocket up their asses, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, whether it's Roy Keane or someone else, there's no doubt that the performance today showed that the manager needs to make fundamental adjustments to what we're doing, how we're playing, the attitude of the team, and yeah, it's got to be something from the roots up. You know, I listened to the Speakman Unfiltered podcast on the way up from the Midlands today, because I've spent 3.5 hours coming here, and I'm going to spend another 3.5 hours going back for that joy. And he was talking about, you know, the culture of the club, the playing style of the club, everything being clear. That wasn't clear to me. Absolutely not clear at all. So there's something fundamentally disjointed about, if we have got a style and a strategy and an ethos and all of them, that needs to be reset and made really, really clear. I don't know if I think Roy Keane is exactly the right man for the job, but whoever comes in needs to really lift the drains up and go from, you know, the bottom to the top and start again. Fortunately, we've still got 16, 17 games left, so we've got room for that. But we need to get the proper coach in ASAP, because that needs straightening up in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, Paddy, at least we are in a position where we're not totally out of it. I mean, just on that performance in last week's automatic promotion looks a bloody long way off. But, you know, first of all, your opinions on if it is Roy Keane, and second of all, you know, what needs to change in that performance today and last week to get us playing again? You know, this is 4 weeks ago. We're beating Sheffield Wednesday 5-0. Today we're losing 2-1 to the bottom of the table. What needs to change?
No. I mean, I think firstly on Roy Keane, I mean, we've heard his name mentioned before, but obviously you get it at this time round. It's like everything just felt a bit more solid. And my first thought was like, to be honest, with the way we're going, and like I'm looking at the other names who have been linked, I'm sort of like I'm wanting Keane more so because the rest of the names are linked. So like, I'm not getting like anywhere near as excited with them as I'm like over Roy Keane. But I do think after that performance, like, you know, we've touched on it before, like we need somebody to come in and like I think Keane knows what he wants in players, to be successful. He knows exactly what he wants his players to do, and I think if he's like watched that, if he's seen that back in any way, he's going to think, well, if I come into this club, there's a lot of players there who don't know what it means to play for this club.
Yeah.
And Keane got that. I know it's been a while since he's in management, but it's something what he's always touched on in interviews since, where you can tell that he's never quite lost how much he realises that this club means to like the people and the city, and just the surrounding area. We've got a game in 3 days' time at Cheltenham, and it's just like I really hope and pray to God that this management team isn't in control for that game on Tuesday, because honestly I fear. I mean, I'm fearful of like us going to Cheltenham, and it's just like I can't believe I'm even saying it, but like if we set up like that, then a team like Cheltenham, who are they're having a similar sort of season, they've got a few more points on the board than Doncaster, but if we set up like that, and if we have this team in charge, if we go there and go 1-0 down, I fear that it's going to follow. It's going to follow a very similar pattern to what it did today.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm fearful of. It's just like at this point, I hope it is Keane, but I also hope that it's all done and dusted by. It's going to be hard to get everything done and dusted by Tuesday, but I don't relish the idea of like having this management group or whatever it was in charge of Cheltenham.
No. I think what really like pisses it off most was today was a free hit for this management team. They know someone's going to come in. This was a free hit for them. Go out and play. Go out and pick your strongest side, or your team with a bit of flair. We had no flair on that pitch today. We had absolutely none. And whoever comes in, I just want whoever comes in to actually like say and actually kind of tell the players that this isn't good enough. That we're in League One. We're Sunderland Football Club. We're in League One. Getting beat 6-0 at Bolton, losing to the team third bottom, whatever they are, and putting in a performance like that today, which was just gutless, is not good enough. And that's all I want. I don't care if it's Roy Keane, if it's whoever, but for me, it needs to be someone who is going to give them a rocket. And we've got all this stuff like, oh, well, football's different now, players don't react this, that and the other. Well, boo-hoo. You know what I mean? Boo-hoo, they're too protected anyway. So, it needs someone who's going to give them a damn good telling off. And that's what they need. That's what they need. And it's obviously, as you've said, proven that last week wasn't just down to Lee Johnson. Some of these players haven't got the spine and haven't got the guts to play for this football club. They might be good League One players, but they're not Sunderland players. And then we've got these till the end of the season now, so we've got to make do. One more thing, Mel, yeah?
Can I just say, I think it was awesome that the fans came out in such numbers as they did to support Bradley's foundation, and to all the fans that turned out with Orslot today, that was awesome. Even though the football was shite, so keep the faith. I think we've got to stick behind this bunch, and hopefully things will turn around. But £38,500 for Bradley's foundation is an awesome amount of money.
Yeah.
So well done, fans.
I think like it's one of those where the real winners today was the city of Sunderland and Sunderland fans. It, like on the pitch, it didn't go to plan, but off the pitch, we've shown that we can be class, and we all come together behind one aim and one objective. We can be outstanding. Yeah,
as I've always said, it might be a League One club, it might be a League One team, it might be League One players. These fans are Premier League quality, absolutely amazing. And to be honest, the first 10 minutes when that roar at the start was just amazing. It was like being back in the Premier League. I loved it. I hated the football, but I love this football club. I love the fans. Cheers very much. We'll not subject us to any more of that, guys. Malc, safe journey home, mate.
Thanks, mate. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you both.
Fingers crossed for Tuesday.
Paddy, once again, such a pleasure, mate.
Yep. Until next time.
Until next time, yeah, we might win a game when you come on this one. No, but yeah, I'm fairly confident we'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be a more detailed roundup and certainly not more of a ramble than what I've just done there. But and obviously good luck tomorrow to Sunderland ladies who are playing Sheffield United. I'll be there. Neve Henderson signed a new contract. Congratulations to Neve. I know you listen to this and I know you're a fan. So we will be back on Tuesday night. It's never dull. Thanks very much, everybody. You have a great weekend. Take care. Goodbye.